Mic unmuted. Switch the scenes to client. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Chow. I'm also known as Saskio. Some of you guys may know me as that guy who got to platinum playing two accounts at once, most notably Draven and Yuumi at the same time. Some of you guys may know me as that collegiate guy. And to add to my new introduction, some of you guys will know me as that guy from ProGuides, as I'm streaming on ProGuides right now. But how are you guys doing today? Talking about the fundamentals of bot lane duos. So we're going to be focused on AD carry and support, and talk about some of the things there when it comes to playing League of Legends. What's up, guys? What's up, Reverse TV? How you guys doing? Yuumi Footman? I see you, Boomer Slayer Requiem. Calling me out as the Yuumi Footman. Alright. Let's switch scenes here and talk about a couple things when it comes to the fundamentals of bot lane. One sec. My stream on my laptop is behind. There you go. I've refreshed it. Everything's caught up. We're good to go. Let's switch to the notepad, and talk about some of the fundamentals of bot lane. And then we'll go into a custom game and make sure we hone in and double down on it to make sure you guys fully understand it. Oh, it's the guy that plays League. That's hilarious. Alright, so switching scenes here. So at the top, so today I will be hosting an NA game. I keep promising EU people, but they switched up the thing, so yeah. Anyways, today we'll be doing NA game. I'm going to look for bronze, silver, gold players, people in each of their roles, and I'll invite you guys, and then you guys will play out a game. I will commentate and do a little bit of shoutcasting. I won't go too hard on the shoutcasting, but we'll do that. And I'll mainly focus on bottom lane when it comes to the fundamentals and see their fundamentals and how they're executing the things that they're doing. But alright, so starting with like solo queue, right? We'll just assume this is in a solo queue game. So start with the fundamentals. So general counter picking where possible. So what does it mean when you want to counter pick bot lane? Bot lane is really weird because there aren't like straight hard direct counters because there's two people in the lane. But there are light counters that can give you small advantages to help give you pressure in the lane, which will help out in a lot of these fundamentals that I'm breaking down. Hopefully I see the notepad. Yes, you guys do. All right, so let's start with counter picking. So counter picking, generally you want to, if you have to first pick something, you want to first pick an AD carry, because AD carries don't really have too hard of counter picks nowadays. Like, they're light, but yeah. So some good examples of first pick AD carries could be Lucian, because the enemy team could think that could go top or mid. And it's a really solid AD carry in my opinion. But not the best right now, but it's still not bad. It's playable. Others could be Varus. Varus is actually really strong picking competitive right now. And probably Aphelios. So if you're looking to like first pick a couple champions for AD carry, those are some really good ones. And support counter pick is a little bit more important because that's the person that's going to be actually pressuring the lane. And I'll talk about that in positioning later when I talk about the square that bot lane makes when they're laning. But generally, when it comes to support picks, and you guys will see in the ProGuides videos too, where there's scripts talking about counter picks, and there was one that came out like 2 days ago, I believe, and I wrote that, by the way. But yeah, so when it comes to counter picking, just first try to generally first pick AD carry if you have to, and then counter pick support. And then I'm not going to go into the specifics because there's too many things to go through when it comes to counter picking support. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Counter pick support. But yeah. That's generally what you want to do before the game even starts. Do you first pick Kog'Maw? No. The only time you pick Kog'Maw is if you are 4th pick and 5th pick on blue side for some reason, and 2 tanks top. And then you can pick Kog'Maw Lulu. And then that's when you can pick Kog. But yeah, that's not really a first pick. What about Tristana? Tristana could be okay. But personally not a fan of her in terms of her potential trades. Like, her short trades are really weird. Like, Kai'Sa's, like, auto-Q is really obvious, right? Varus, auto-E. That's pretty obvious. But Tristana's, like, E, auto, and then it's like, what now? it's I'm not a fan of Tristana when it comes to short trades. But, alright, going to the important part, which is the early laning phase and positioning. So, this is a huge concept that, not huge, but it's a concept that I've been bringing up more and more in the recent coachings that streams I've been doing. So, there's 2 ways you can call it. The first way, it sounds more appropriate. The second way is what I initially called it. So, zone of influence. Or, I like to say, imaginary lines. But for now, I'm just going to say zone of influence. So what does that mean? So a zone of influence is where if an enemy champion is standing there, right? Basically, like for example, let's say Blitzcrank is standing there, right? His zone of influence is the circle around him, that's his Q. Anything that's inside of that, you don't want to be inside of that. And then obviously like you can add a flash on top of that. So basically the point is bringing it back to bot lane. For the zone of influence, if a Blitzcrank's in a bush, right? You have to assume and you can't see him, you have to assume he's in the closest part of the brush to you, and you have to respect that zone of influence where the hook can land on you, and then not play in it. Because if you play in it, right, then you're forced to juke it. That's the only way you can not get hit by it. But if you're outside of its range, right, then it can't hit you, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to be going over, and that's what we're going to teach you here. I'm going to teach you here today, that how you can use it on your champion. So early laning phase and positioning. So generally, AD carry is near wave top side of bot lane, laning. So the AD carry generally stays near the top side of the bot lane, laning. So they're staying far away from the lane of influence, which is zone of influence, which is the second brush that supports using contest. Supports contest second lane brush in lane ASAP and force a ward from the enemy. Now, you're probably going to ask me, like, what if you're playing, like, a champion that can't contest the second brush, like, right away, right? Well, then that comes down to respecting them and letting them push towards you, and then giving them that zone of influence from that bush. And then you control the first brush. So it's relative to where you are, like, whether you're blue side or red side. But basically, the second brush is always number 2, right? There's 3 brushes in bot lane. There's 1, 2, 3 from blue side, or from red side, it's 1, 2, 3 down. So you want to control always your bush number 1 if you can never control bush number 2. So really good examples of this would be like, let's say you're playing like TK, right? And they have like a Janna who's really good at dodging your Qs. Then you have to give up the second lane brush because you can't contest that second lane brush. You have to give that up. And you're just forced to ward it, or you're forced to ward your first brush and then back off even further. So that's what you generally want to look to do as AD carry duo in fundamentals, is AD carry controls the wave in your top side of bot lane, and the supports contest the second lane brush. But keep in mind, as the AD carry, you should be controlling your top side, but yet close enough to help your support if he does get into a fight with the enemy support. Alright. Next. Let's talk about push for level 2. So this one's pretty obvious nowadays. This one's run over. Always, basically, it takes 9 minions to hit level 2 bot lane. The first 6 come, and then they die, right? And then 3 melee minions after that usually always gets you level 9. Unless you, like, missed minions or something. But on that 9th minion, you want to posture really aggressively and all in. So basically now this comes down to execution. But basically on the 9th minion, you want to posture really aggressively up, and then just all in the enemy once you hit that level 2, and then you should generally win. And this happens very often. Even in Challenger, like League, people fall for it all the time for some reason, and you get huge advantages off of it. Hopefully kills in lower elo, but generally in Challenger you get flashes, which is still pretty good. So that's what you want to look to do. When you're able to control lane early on, it depends on your bot lane, and get control of the bushes and hit that 9th minion first. So it also comes down to pushing the wave as slowly as possible, but yet maintain a push towards them. Alright, let's check the chat real quick just to make sure. Stream is lagging. Rip my internet. It's only 9th, but the last 3 are melees. Yes, that's true. I can't carry my teammates as Senna. What can I do? That is a very big question to ask, mate. I can't carry my teammates as Senna. I would say Senna is not like... Oh, I don't see Senna as a hard carry champion, in my opinion. She is good, I will say that much, but I would think more of champions along the lines of like Kai'Sa, Vayne, Tristana can have more opportunities to hard carry, like an actual solo queue game. You can get 6 plus 2 melees and a caster, and it's not enough? Yeah, probably. How you feel about Jhin? I would say Jhin is okay champion. You generally only pick it when you don't want to dive. So let's say they have Kai'Sa already, or Kai'Sa's banned, and you have like a full dive composition, and you have no more diving AD carries, but you can probably pick Tristana in that case. Then you can pick Jhin, since nobody will peel for you, and then you kind of just stand back while everybody dives and just shoot what you can, and try to do your best to live if somebody dives you, because nobody's gonna be peeling for you. So that's when Jhin could be good. All right, next, this concept is a concept that a lot of academy players is now starting to learn. Strong side, weak side. So here is where a lot of players in lower level gameplay will be like, I keep getting ganked by the enemy jungler, or something along those lines, right? And where are you, jungler? Like, why aren't you helping me? Well, strong side, weak side. So basically what this means is always assume the enemy jungler is on the opposite side of your jungler. So if your jungler's top lane, or top side, right? You have to assume the enemy jungler is in bottom side. This doesn't apply to early game, by the way. This applies after around 5 to 6 minutes. But basically, you shouldn't be trying to make plays on your side of the map, like 2v2 plays, if your jungler's on the opposite side of the map. Like if it's like an all-in play where you have to go forward. But if it's a defensive play where the enemy is running into you, then that's fine. But basically, it's very common that if your jungler's on the opposite side doing something, whether it's Herald or top ganks or stealing camps or doing his own camps, the enemy jungler's on the opposite side, so which is bottom side. So you don't want to make plays. But then now once it shifts and your jungler's on your side, right? You can't safely assume, but you can assume that the enemy jungler will be top side. So you can look to play a little more aggressively, because in theory, right? And I know you're going to say, my jungler's an idiot, he won't come anyways. I know you're going to say that, but anyways, if your jungler's bottom side, you can play aggressively on your side, because in theory, your jungler could come and assist you to make the play happen, or he's on your side, so like the enemy like can't really play aggressively because their jungler isn't there. So then, yeah, you can now bring up the comments of how your NA solo queue jungler is really bad, and their jungler's still there anyways. But that's a very common one, but that's generally the idea of strong side, weak side. And you'll notice this a lot in LCS games too, where if a play is happening on one side of the map, the other side usually plays really passively, or they'll even give up tower minions. When the enemy pushes in the minions, they'll just back off and sacrifice the minions completely until the minion wave's cleared, then they'll move back up. Very common scenario to happen. Alright. And then they'll take really aggressive trades, and then they're forced to just reset because they can't hold the tower, and then they just lose a lot of minions. But anyways, continuing on with the session, roam opportunities. So this is where the support has to look at the wave. So every time you guys reset, right? The support has to look at the wave. He looks at the wave bot and determines if he can look to roam, whether to mid lane or to just place wards in the river, and then he can go back bot. So generally when you look at bot, right? If bot's even right in the middle, then the support can generally look to roam and place a ward somewhere in the river. Like usually, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, they run to the river near mid lane. They pop a ward in that river brush by dragon, and then they just run bot lane. That's a very common one to do when bot minions are in the middle and they're even. Now, if bot is stacking up towards your AD carry, right? You can actually roam all the way mid lane and make a play happen, and then try to get to bot lane in time before your AD carry gets dove. And then the other situation is if your wave is pushing towards the enemy for some reason, while you guys are on reset, then you cannot roam. You just go bot lane with your AD carry, push out the wave, and then you execute the strategy down here. Push, vision, push, execute. Because since you have the bigger wave, right, you're able to push cleanly into their tower, put vision on the map. This is where you can also roam too. If not, you can go back, and now you can look to push, execute, since you have the vision established. So as support, look at wave and determine how much you can do. That's what you want to look to do when you're the support. Alright, lane swap. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I'm just going to say basically when bot tower and dragon is down, you don't want to be bot. So basically, if bot and dragon is down, the AD carrying support doesn't want to be bot lane anymore. There's not much you guys can do anymore, even if you push vision, push execute on that side. Because the best you can do is push, get vision, push again, and then roam mid. That's only one play that you can make. But if you're mid lane or even top lane, right? You're able to push, vision, push, and then you have options. You have towers, you have herald, you have you can even roam mid lane if you want to. If you lane swap to top, there's way more options that are sustainable than being bot lane and just roaming mid. And then from mid lane, you can set up on both sides on what objectives you want when it comes to AD carrying support. So I won't touch too much on it, but that's the general idea. And push vision, push execute, This is a strategy that I always try to nail down in my streams. Very straightforward. Now, if your team is winning, right, and you can do these strategies right here, you do step number 1, which is where you push. If the enemy tries to fight you, you guys win, right? So you guys just take the fight. But they won't, so you push. Next, you move it as a team and get vision. And you sweep vision. Next, you go back to pushing the lanes that you just pushed out. Now they're under tower. Now for execution, there's a million strategies you can choose from. You can choose from hitting the tower if you have really good siege. You can do objectives, which is usually the norm, which is Herald, Baron, or Dragon. You can invade for camps, red buffs, blue buffs. You can sit in the enemy jungle and just look for picks, or you can rotate to another lane and look to create a numbers advantage there while they're dealing with the wave that you just pushed in. So that's the general... Can you guys even see it? Yeah, you guys can. That's the general 4 steps of League of Legends that every single person should be following to a general degree. All right. What's execute? Execute is anything you want it to be. But basically, it's like doing something with all the setup that you have, which is Herald, Baron, Vision, fighting, towers. But yeah. And that is where these 4 steps right here determines how good an LCS team is how good the whole team can play around it. So remember how I talked about strong side, weak side, right? Just because your team is winning doesn't mean all 3 lanes can push vision, push execute at the same time. Because the enemy jungler is going to try to kill the person who is on the weak side, which is usually the top laner, right? So usually the top laner has to play safe, but 2 other lanes, which is AD carry, support, jungle, and mid, they can push in top and mid, establish vision, and then they look to make plays on that side while their top laner continues to play safe. Until they see where the jungler is, then the top laner can finally push up and do the steps himself. So it's basically like a living, like League of Legends in competitive is a living organism. Like everybody has to play properly around the strategy, even though you're not directly a part of the play. And yeah, basically that's why teams like G2 and C9 are really good, because they're able to do these steps simultaneously. Not the execute part, but they're able to push and vision at the same time. They don't push as a team and then get vision as a team. They usually push and do vision at the exact same time, and then they execute. So they don't need to do the 3rd step. They can skip that step since they push, vision, execute. They're really quick. That's why their team is pretty good. Same as C9. But there's a lot more that goes into that, why they're good, than just that. But let's jump straight into the client here, and for about 10 minutes, and then talk about a couple things and nail down some of the concepts that I talked about in here. So let's go up, queue up for the client. Ooh, my client is laggy. AMD graphics card, boys. Alright, so let's just pick Thresh here. Runes don't matter. Don't think everyone will play as a team. Low elo players are selfish. And that is true, yes. But you can still apply these steps to your own play. Like, when I'm playing AD carry, right? In lower level gameplay, I push. And I'll ping my teammates, and they will follow me. Because I'm generally ahead. That's ego, by the way. But they will follow me. Let me switch scenes here. They will follow me, and then they'll just establish vision on their own. Because like, it's pretty obvious. Like, we're moving in now. They place their vision. And then I'll go back and push, and then I'll let them do whatever they want. That's when they can throw if they want, which is usually what they do. They'll take random fights. But then I'll follow up after, once I push out the wave, and I'll come help them join the fight. So I guess you can play around your solo queue teammates' tendencies, but you want to try to follow steps while doing it. So you want to push, and you want to move in for vision. If your teammates want to fight, sure, you can fight. You just push the wave. If not, you can go back to pushing, and if they fight, you can go join them after they take the fight. So you can, like, I guess, reverse psychology? I don't know. You can call it however you want. How do you win lane from behind? You don't. You survive. Assuming that you're the scaling person and you're losing to an early game champion, then it's up to you on how you can stay alive and continue to just keep catching minion waves over and over again without being punished, such as losing tower damage or being dove or something along those lines. Basically, the point is staying alive as long as you can if you are the scaling option, like Nasus, for example, or Vayne. Do you coach on ProGuides? Yes, I do coach on ProGuides. I'm waiting for the stream to catch up right now. How can you push when your AD carry doesn't and you are support or peel? That's why when I recommend supports in lower level gameplay, right? I don't tell them to play Yumi or Janna. Those are Did my scene switch yet?
Minions have spawned.
Oh, it's black still. Huh. Oh, I know why. Okay, give me a second. Don't worry, you guys didn't miss anything. I didn't do anything in the game. All right, now you guys can see the stream. Okay, I switched to full screen. That's why. Now I'm on borderless. That was my bad. But you didn't miss anything. Don't worry. So going back to your question about if you're the support and your AD carry doesn't push, right? That's why you generally don't want to play champs like Janna and Nami, because you depend on your AD carry to be able to push out a wave for you, and then they move with you, right? And your jungler, they move with you to establish vision. That's very dependent on your teammates. That's why I recommend Pyke and Bard, because you can do these steps without getting the wave pushed, because you're very slippery as those two champions. So those are my personal recommendations when it comes to playing support. But generally when you're ahead, right, even if you're playing Janna, Nami, or Yumi, like, you guys should be able to get the push still. Like, even with your AD carry, like, you go mid, and then, like, you just tell them push. Like, just type push. And then after that, like, you move in after you get the push. So once the wave's pushed, right, it crashes into the tower. You see the enemy, like, somebody on the enemy team clearing the wave, right? That means, since that person's clearing the wave, you cannot die to that person when you face check this brush right here. Obviously, they can run over, right? If you face check, like, 2 other people. But generally, like, speaking, if 3 of you guys push, right? Your jungler, AD carry, and support pushes mid right here. And then the enemy, like, AD carry is standing here dealing with the wave, right? And then you guys face check into their jungler and support. It's a 3v2. Like, you guys are fine. That's the general idea of pushing and forcing someone on the enemy team to react to the wave, right? And then you see them clear the wave. Now you're able to move in with the numbers advantage and place your vision, clear your vision, do whatever you want. And you guys go from there. So that's the idea of the push, vision, push, execute strategy that I'm talking about. And if they don't show on the wave, right, then they're just losing minions on the tower. You just don't move in then. You just hold you stay shallow then, and you sit here until someone reacts on the enemy team, or your AD carry can even walk up and just hit the tower until someone on the enemy team reacts. But alright. How about Rakan? Slippery enough? Rakan is a 50-50 because sure, you have your W, but you kind of also depend on people to use your E. So yeah. Which champion and role would you recommend for Diamond? You can play any role you want. It just depends how you play out the role. But if you want me to really give you a role, I would say top lane is probably the best, because that's where you can really distinguish between you and the enemy top laner on how good you guys are. It comes down to the mechanics. Sure, there's some jungler influence, but for the most part, you're able to actually do the strategy and solo queue really easily. A push, vision, push, execute. So especially when you play champions like Fiora, Jax, or something along those lines, who has really heavy split pushing pressure. But alright, let's get back to the point here of bot lane fundamentals. So I'm going to run over a couple things. So let me pull up my notepad real quick and let's see. So this counter picking, early lane positioning. So for early lane positioning, level 1, generally AD carry wants to be here, where my ward is. And they want to CS around that area. And for supports, the first thing that supports should do when they come to lane is contest this brush right here. So now it comes down to who has like the better level 1, like who can poke better. Like if you're against an Alistair, he can't really contest the bush level 1, etc, etc. But basically, your objective is to get into this brush as a support. And it comes down to contesting, like right here, like if you Thresh Brand or something, like as Thresh you can just hook him or something. But basically the point is get into this brush and you stand right here, if we're blue side, right? If we're spawned on this side. You stand right here. And if you're red side, you want to stand right here. If you spawn on this side, you want to stand right here when you come in the bush. And basically now, the enemy team has to assume the worst case scenario. So for blue side, right? And you're in this brush right here and they can't see you. The enemy team, when they're here, right? They have to assume that you're standing here. And then they have to respect the abilities that you have and play around it. Now, the enemy team is forced to ward this bush. So they ward the brush, right? And now you have a ward advantage. So then now the next question is, what do you do? Well, now you have a ward advantage. Basically what you do now is you don't go back to this bush. This is not that great. What you do is you just play near the ward. So you just pressure, and now you use the zone of influence or imaginary lines, as I talked about earlier. So right here, from the enemy's perspective, right? Thresh's imaginary line is up to here. That's like the perfect, right? So they need to play just at the maximum range if they want to play the game. And if they play within it, right? Let's say they play a bit deeper into it, then you have an opportunity to try to land a hook. And then that comes down to how good they are at juking, and you guys play off that. So that's what you want to look to do when you are getting to lane right away. And then use your zone of influence. And now if they disrespect you, right, and you have the push going towards them, you can pull the trigger and then try to go in off that. And then hopefully your AD carry is close enough to follow up, and you go off that. And now we play from the opposite side, right? Let's say their bot lane is like has the better level 1 or level 2, and you guys need to respect them. You guys need to play outside of their zone of influence if possible. That's why it comes down to when you're playing AD carry support, it comes down to min-maxing. Basically what that means is you want to minimize the poke that you're able to receive and maximize the pressure that you're able to output. So sometimes that might not look like a lot, but basically that means as an AD carry when you're last hitting, right? You want to try to sit outside of the maximum range of the enemy's abilities. Like let's say Brand, for example, right? Let's say the Brand is this ward. Oh, never mind, I don't have a ward anymore. Refresh. Alright, let's say the Brand is this ward, right? And we have the bush warded. If I'm an AD carry, right, I need to calculate Brand's W distance, which is, I would say, probably right here. Right here. And then there's a big circle after that. So then I would probably CS around here against the Brand, right? And if he shoots at the ability, I just walk 2 steps and I dodge it. Because I'm sitting at the maximum range. So right there, I was minimizing the poke I was receiving and maximizing my pressure. So now I'm baiting out abilities while I'm last hitting. Instead of, like, let's say Brand's over there, right? As an AD carry, I'm standing here. The Brand's never going to shoot his abilities at all if you're standing here. Sure, there's 0 chance that the enemy Brand can ever do something if you're standing here as the AD carry last hitting. But you're also never going to bait anything else. So you want to be able to use your character as a baiting tool to try to see if enemies will shoot their ability. And then this applies to all the other champs, like Thresh, Blitzcrank, etc, etc. Like, you want to sit their maximum range, see if you can bait out their hook. If you bait out their hook, that's an advantage for you that you can look to play around. But alright. Can you tell me how to think in silver and gold too? Like, mindset-wise? You want to try to play for yourself. Like, people always say that, yes, but it's very true. Like, you play for yourself. When I'm smurfing, right, in lower levels, so I can get my account to higher levels, so I can practice against better people, right? And to keep my account secret, that's the reason why I smurf, by the way, is when I'm playing in lower level gameplay, I play selfishly. I play everything for myself. If my support does something that is way out of line, I'm just gonna leave them. Screw you. You can ping me all you want, but I'm not gonna die just because you wanted to make a really bad play that wasn't following the fundamentals of push, vision, push, execute. Examples are, the enemy has a bigger wave, and your support walks past the wave to try to fight them. That's a no-go for me. I'm going to let you die, and I'll just keep farming and scaling up. But yeah. Alright. Next, strong side, weak side. So this comes down to understanding, looking at minion waves. This is a big one. So generally, when the enemy team has their jungler on their side and your jungler's on opposite side, right? The wave's usually pushing towards you. So what you need to do now is you don't apply the min-maxing strategy where you try to sit just outside of their range. You need to completely respect them. So right here, look at this minion wave, right? This is a really good example right here. This wave is 1000% going to push towards me. I'm going to play really safe here if my jungler's top side. Like right now, if the enemy support walks up to this rush right here that I just warded, I'm going to play back here. Me and my support. We're going to sit all the way back here because our jungler's top side and the wave's pushing towards us. And we're just going to soak up the EXP or max range farm. Like right there, I would Ezreal Q that minion maybe or Sivir Q it. And we just sit back here. Because right now, a lot of like lower level players, they'd walk up and try to last hit. But what's going to happen is the enemy has their jungler on their side. And they have the minion wave advantage. You're just going to get poked and destroyed. And by the time the minion wave gets under your tower, you're already poked out. They can easily dive you. Something along those lines, right? But if you sit really far back and just soak up EXP, see right now, EXP, I'm going to update that mage. Nope. And let's just assume one of those minions died. And now the wave comes in. I'm full HP. And now I can try to farm around the tower. Obviously they'll poke me, right? But at least I'll be full HP while they're trying to poke me. So that's what you want to look to do. If A, your jungler's not on your side and the wave's pushing towards you. Now, the next question you're going to ask is, what happens if the wave's pushing towards them and the jungler's on the opposite side? Well, you need to look to try to stack wave and try to fully push out the wave. So let's try to create an example here of what that would look like. So, again, the scenario is wave's pushing towards them, and your jungler's not on your side to help you. So now you need to stack the wave. So right here, I believe the wave is pushing towards them, because it did meet on my side. But basically right here is, if the wave's right here building up, right? If you can stack another big wave, and then fully try to push it in, once the next wave reaches the minion wave that you're stacking it with, then you can fully push it in. If you get ganked, it's a 3v3. Because your minion wave is so big. Your minion wave counts as the whole champion. So then when you try to fully push in the wave, so let's look right here, right? Oh, it pushed too fast. But the point is like, this is a really good example, right? So right here, your jungler's on the opposite side, right? And you're walking up and you can get ganked. But let's assume the minion wave is a little bit bigger, which it should be, right? If we try to push here, we can push, and if we get ganked, we can try to play the 2v3 with bigger minion wave. And then this is a very common situation that you can win. And if they respect you, right, and like they just let you push out, you just push out and reset. That's fine. And then just reset, grab items, come back, and see how the lane state is again. But alright. I'm aggressive Thresh with big brain. My man. Has the name Boruto Uzumaki. That's when you know he's a Thresh with big brain. Alright. As AD carry or a support, when do I prioritize hitting, catching, picking, all-inning their AD carry or support? I mean, what is the better execute? When is it better to execute their AD carry first or their support? It depends on the situation, but generally, you just want to go for the person who's free, basically, when you're choosing targets on who you want to hit. If one person is just straight up free to hit with a hook or something, or just free abilities, just go for that person. League of Legends guide, how to win with 3 losing lanes. Win your lane. If you're jungling, then win 1 lane. If you have 3 losing lanes. Let me switch scenes here. Could you show us some really good spots in jungle to ward as bot lane? Let's just try to imagine it here. So for bot lane, right? Let's just assume we're blue side now, right? We're the side which is bottom side. Good spots to ward would be, if you're doing push, vision, push, execute, is after you push, right? They're catching the wave under the tower. You move in to their blue buff area, right? And you place a ward in between their blue buff and Gromp. That's a really good ward to place. Because now you have control of 2 of the camps that the enemy jungler could do. And then the other one would be the river brush just north of the dragon a little bit. The middle brush inside the river and bot side. Like, those 2 wards will basically cover all the potential entrances the enemy jungler can come through. Minus the lane, but very rarely in low level gameplay will people walk through a lane to try to kill you. It happens in higher level gameplay, competitive gameplay, but not in lower level gameplay usually. But alright, let's get into this custom game. So we're gonna do things a little bit differently right now. I'm just going to give you guys the custom, and everyone's just gonna, like, you guys can just all join in at the same time, and then just like work out who's gonna play what roles between you guys. And let's just hope that it's kind of balanced. So if you are silver, bronze, or gold, feel free to join this. If you're platinum, I don't want the games to be skewed too hard. So try not to join if, or don't join if you're platinum or diamond or challenger. But alright, I'm in North America right now. North America, NA. The game is going to be called Saskio game. Okay, Saskio game. Team size, 5. We're going to do blind pick, and we're going to allow spectators. Alright, so be ready. The password is gonna be 12345. Join. So basically, go to custom game, join custom, and then show private lobbies. And you guys can just all join in and just fill in the game. Alright, not bad, not bad. And then just start the game once we have full. Start game. Alright, start game. Start the game. Start the game. And just work out between you guys who's gonna go where. Work out who. Okay. You guys, I trust you guys will not troll each other. Just work it out and just be nice to each other. Your password is so creative. I'm not gonna put like like raindrop, like or something, or like pizza or top drop. That's where I start rapping, by the way, but I can't rap. There's a Plat. He's TFT. I didn't want to go through the process of manually having to pick you guys out by myself because my computer's kind of laggy and I don't want to pull up multiple things. And you guys have probably recognized that already because I'm streaming on an AMD card and it's kind of not good. But I am switching to an i7 soon. My i7 computer was having issues, so I switched to my AMD computer. I should be prepping my AP government test, which is in 2 hours. That's a rip. Yeah, when I was finishing up my final exams for my master's degree in business administration, my first year, and it was a pain in the last couple of days. On top of that, I had to try to clean. I was cleaning my house, packing all my things, and having to move out so I can fly back home to Canada. AMD is better than Intel? Really? My friends say otherwise. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the specific cards I have. Because I have an i7 in my white computer. In my black computer that I'm streaming now to you guys, it has an AMD card. If you read this, then you're cool. Nice. Is Alistair the best tank support if I don't want to play Not or Leona? Alistair is very... I would say Alistair's really good if the enemy team has... Yeah, like right here, like, Alistair's perfect into this team because they have, like, a lot of melee champs, and Alistair is guaranteed to be able to WQ stuff and then land his E. Instead of ranged champs, you just try to kite him all day. Like, Katarina, guarantee wants to go in, right, to do damage. Same as Evelyn, Cho'Gath, Nautilus. Alistair is perfect for this. But you don't want to pick Alistair when they have, like, a lot of, like, things that can escape you really easily and then just kite you forever. Like Ezreal. Why would you pick Alistair into Ezreal? What do you think about set support? Set support's really good right now. With Omni Stone, Hex Flash, and in secondary tree, Nimbus Cloak. Those 3 specific runes. What city do you live in? British Columbia, Vancouver. What is the best carry support? Pike and Bard. Because you don't depend on your team to push. So you can just get the vision on your own. In your opinions, Ornn is stronger support than Alistair. Ornn is a okay support in competitive play, but you pick him to flex. To flex him. So you pick him on red side on 3rd pick, and then you ban Braum. You can't pick him on blue side ever, unless it's 1st pick and you don't care that they take Braum. But if you want to sneak an Ornn support, you want to 3rd pick him on red side on competitive, ban Braum, and then now they have to think it's top or support. And then you can win the flex war that way. Because then they're forced to pick their top laner 4-5, allowing you to counterpick on 5p on red side. Which is the top. So you can choose whether Ornn goes top or support then. So that means you also cannot pick support. Huh, how would that work? Did I do that wrong? I think I did that wrong, but that doesn't matter. Why Omni Stone? Because you need to get into the Hex Flash tree, and you need to get into the Sorcery tree. And Omni Stone's the best keystone out of those two trees. There's Phase Rush, Airy, and Comet, which is really bad on set. And then there's... What's the other 2? I forgot. It's a Glacial Augment, and then something else, and then Omni Stone. And then Omni Stone's the best one. Best AD carry to main this season? Varus, Kai'Sa, Lucian, Tristana, and Sivir. I love Sivir. So those five AD carries are pretty good. Spellbook? Yeah, Spellbook is pretty bad in set in my opinion. I'd rather have Omni Stone for sure. Alright, let's switch to replays here. You guys should see my thing in a second. Yasuo AD carry worth picking up if you have a support who knows how to play Gragas and Alistair. But he's only good because in competitive gameplay, if you pick Yasuo or Gragas 1-2, right? You can hold that flex pick and it can always go bot lane instead of jungle mid or jungle top. It never goes jungle top, but jungle mid's more common. Which AD carry do you think is the hottest? I'm not answering that question. But they all are very attractive, the artwork that Riot Games does on the Champions. Xayah is OTP. Not a fan, I'll be quite honest. Xayah, like, she's really great, but in solo queue, if you pick Xayah, you bait your auto-filled support into picking Rakan. Simp, my man. When is the best time to go in during laning phase with Pyke to score a kill? Level 2, you E flash, and then you go behind them after you stun them and then hook them back into your AD carry. Or if you don't want to do that, you just hook, and then once you land your hook, you E, and then the enemy team will flash. You don't flash, you just back off, and then you have a flash advantage now. What do you think of Aphelios? That champion is still broken. 200 years worth of overlapping experience, Riot Games. What do I need to do to get Grandmaster? Currently Master Tier with 102 LP on EU. So from the looks of it, you've learned how to... You have your mechanics down. If you're in Master Tier, you need to go back and revisit your fundamentals. That's a huge one. When I first entered Challenger, right? My biggest issue was actually my fundamentals. I thought I was really good at last hitting and like positioning and stuff, but I was actually awful. Like even last year, right? When I was on Maryville University and we were preparing for our collegiate finals, right? We scrimmed TSM Academy. So we're a collegiate team. We're the top collegiate team, scrimming the top academy team, basically, at the time. Because they were also preparing for their finals, too, against, like, TLA or something. And me and Clydebot, we were scrimming against Tactical and Treats. And the difference between Tactical and Treats and me and Clyde were so immense. It was, like, massive. I felt like a Master Tier 10 LP 80 carry against, like, a Challenger Tier, like, 1200 80 carry. Like, the fundamentals, like the littlest things, right? Of how to position, how to lane, how to trade, how to maximize your pressure was like huge. Like all those little things. And I learned a lot like from those scrims on how Tactical and Treats played. And me and Clyde applied that to our games right after, and we won CLO. So yeah. How to CS efficiently with Ezreal? There is no like efficient way to CS with Ezreal, but my advice is, did I lag? Okay, God bless. Is try to not use your Q if possible. If you don't have to use your Q to last it on Ezreal, don't use your Q. Use your auto attack. Save that mana and use that energy towards poking the enemy instead. Alright, we got a very standard classical cheese here. We got the Jinx walking in. And then, oh my god. Okay. Alright, word of advice. Always never go through that part unless you're playing Draven on red side. If you're red side and you have a really weak bot lane, always go the long way no matter what. Now, Ashe and Nautilus have a really big zone of influence. Now, right here, Alistar's forced toward the bot brush, and now they can't walk up. So right here, now they have a ward advantage, and the wave is pushing towards red team. So they're going to have a lot of trouble here once blue team hits level 2. So right here, they're level 2. Oh, they missed the minion. Oh, Nautilus missed the minion. He needs 2 mage minions now, or 3. Is it 2 or 3? It's 3. He's level 2 here, is he? No, he isn't. Wow. I'm surprised. Do people don't get leashes in higher elo? Is it a big setback to give the leash? The reason why nobody leashes in high elo, or in competitive gameplay, is because you don't want to give out where your jungler starts. But the issue with that is your jungler will usually lose the 2v2 mid, because he takes 3 extra seconds to be able to join a fight. Alright, but basically right here, Ashe and Nautilus built a wave towards Jinx and Alistar. Jinx and Alistar weren't able to do anything, so now they have the free reign to hit them or hit the tower itself. So that was really good on Ashe and Nautilus to cheese level 1. Really bad on Jinx and Alistar to walk through there, because their champions do nothing level 1. And basically they're just reaping in the benefits. Ashe is now up CS on the Jinx. Jinx is forced to sit on the tower and last it, and she can't really do much. So right here, if I was the Ashe and Nautilus, I would stop pushing 24/7. It's really bad to push here, because you want to force the enemy to walk up to try to last it. And then Nautilus will just sit in this bush right here, and they have to assume he's in the worst position scenario, and they have to play around it. So I want Nautilus to go in that bush, and now it forces the Jinx and Alistar to back off. If they're still in range, Nautilus can hook. Exactly like that. That's beautiful. I love this. I love this gameplay. So nice. So all else has to do is sit in that bush and they're forced to back off. If they're still within range, go for the hook. Go for the all-in. You guys win. You guys are the stronger bottom lane. Where do you see Vayne in the meta? She's good if they pick 2 tanks. Alright, so let's see what happens here. Alright. We got Ashe getting hit by the Jinxie for no reason. So let's go back here. So all the fundamentals are being followed by Ashe and Nautilus. But, oh, I'm glitching here. Okay, so we got the Windows bug. But right here, Ashe and Nautilus are going past minions. This is okay sometimes, but I don't think it's okay in this scenario. Because look what's happening here. The cannon has turned around and now is focusing Ashe. Right? So now basically it's a 3v2 because the cannon counts as 1. Like, sure, the cannon is hitting Alistar, but the issue here is the focus is split. Because right here, Jinx, Alistar, and red cannon is hitting Ashe, right? But blue cannon is hitting Alistar, and Ashe is trying to hit the Jinx. So basically right now, Jinx is taking 0 minion aggro. So this is free. On top of that, Ashe somehow got hit by Jinx's E, even though it like showed up on the map for like 9 whole years, and she just walked into it instead of walking forward. So, like, the idea is there to fight, but the execution isn't really there at all. River Shen. How good do you think Ziggs is as support? I don't think he's that good. Because he doesn't offer any, like, utility. Like, sure, his W is like some kind of CC. But you can argue, like, Ziggs is similar to, like, Vel'Koz, like, Bran, like, Xerath, right? Who are also, like, decent supports. It's just, like, Ziggs is just so, like... His damage isn't, like, guaranteed. Because his Q has, like, a weird bounce. But then other, like, characters, like Vel'Koz, like, their damage is pretty upfront. Like, if you... I don't know. Ziggs is really weird support. I don't know. I just don't like it. How good is Nocturne jungle and low elo? Really good. Really good. Because people fall for pre-6 ganks in lower level anyways. That's what makes Nocturne good. In high level, people don't fall for pre-level 6 Nocturne ganks. Verse as lethality or AA in solo queue. Definitely auto attacks. Alright, so right here, look at blue team. They're building up the wave towards Jinx Nautilus. They can take an all-in whenever they want because they have the bigger minion wave. So Nautilus, sit in this bush, create your zone of influence. Look at Jinx and Alistar. They have to back off and respect that zone that Nautilus is creating. And now you're able to get the push. Very nice from Ashe. Now you've pushed, you can establish some basic vision. Unfortunately, Warwick's doing Dragon, but right here. Boom! Beautiful! Beautiful gameplay from blue side. Alright, they get a ward and Dragon. Stop, don't take aggro now. Run. Now go back to bot lane. Don't miss too many more minions. Oh god. Oh god. They just missed 3 melees. And a mage. Okay. Whenever you push vision, push execute, if you're gonna push, and it doesn't go all the way in, you have only so much time to establish vision before you need to get back to block. But, I will say this. I respect the fundamentals Ashe and Nautilus is following here. They pushed. It didn't fully push all the way. That sucks. They warded here. They warded here. Now they see Warwick doing camps. So now they can play around it. Beautiful. Beautiful gameplay. And then now they know Warwick's bot side. Now you guys chill. Don't let them engage on you. Just farm max range and maybe use Ashe Ws if you want to sit really far back and you'll be fine. What do you think about Real top for low elo? She's good. Because you have a lot of split push pressure later on once you reach Trinity Force and Tiamat. Oh my god. Alright, so, yeah. Blue team should have played a bit more safer because they knew Warwick was bot side. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt because Warwick did kind of, like, overstay. And then he went all the way around. And he really wanted the gank to work. So, unfortunate from team, but personally, what I would have done, right? Is I would have just fully sacked the wave, let the wave fully come in, and have 0 chance for the enemy to kill him. So right here is just some random fighting. Okay. Nautilus is about to come back. So red team should leave here. They should just leave. There's no reason to fight anymore. Let's get out of there. Ashe just go bottom push. And everyone just go back to their respective lanes. Anivia support? Probably not that good. I don't see it in... I don't see a situation like where you'd ever do it. Like even in competitive, like you can pick it. Like you can pick Anivia, and then it's like it's mid lane. It's not gonna go support. You can't flex it support really, so it's not that great. It's good if they have a Scion support. Then yes, Anivia support could work. Specifically Scion. Because if he ults, you just go boom. You wall him. Alright, so right here, Jinx and Alistair should actually look to push here because Nautilus is showing mid. So they need to crash the wave here all the way in really fast and then get vision right away. So right here, they should clear this pink ward, put a ward in the tri-bush. But they didn't push fast enough. Look what happens when you don't push fast enough. This happens. This is really bad positioning to be in for Jinx and Alistair. Or any bot lane in general. Is if you don't fully crash the wave, and now the minion wave is in a really awkward positioning, where you can't gank the enemy, but the enemy can gank you. And it's kind of hard to also poke them. You'd never want the position to be here as red team. Really bad. But the good thing now is the wave is pushing back towards red team, so they can play safe. Worst case scenario. A lot of random solo queue stuff going on top, but we'll pretend it's not happening. So right here, Nautilus should Targon and go inside the bush and create his zone of influence. But the enemy red team's respecting him anyways. But if Nautilus went up to this bush, right? In this, where this pink ward is, they would have to back up really far. And then right there, Jinx disrespecting the Nautilus zone. And he had a chance to get hooked, but bless up that Nautilus missed, and Jinx is able to... She didn't dodge it. I think Nautilus missed. But that's the opportunities blue team wants to look for. If they're disrespecting you and you have the minion wave pushing, you can look for all in. That's fine. That's perfect. If you miss, it is what it is. It sucks. And then red team, like you need to back up even further in that scenario. Because you know the wave's coming in. Don't risk getting hooked and losing the big wave once you die. So let's see what's going on here. Ashe spawning out the Warwick. Is Thresh good in this meta? He's okay. Thresh is always good. He's never like just straight up garbage. He's always pickable in some scenarios. But it also comes down to how you play him too. That's the most important part. Alright, see what's going on here. So Ashe is moving off the wave. No fundamentals are being followed here. Look, Ashe leaves the wave, right? And now who's gonna catch this wave? Now the tower's taking damage, and you lose a lot of EXP and gold. Ding, ding. That's why you never move until you can get the push going. You guarantee the resources that are guaranteed. I just used guaranteed 2 to 3 different times there. But basically, you get the resources that are 100%, and then you go do other stuff that is not 100%. Like placing vision, you can run to the enemy jungler randomly, right? Or doing dragon, or helping your jungler secure scuttle. Obviously, sometimes there are situations where you just need a force move. I'm not saying there aren't situations like that, but there are. But you want to follow the fundamentals when you can. And right there wasn't any immediate need for the Ashe to move to the Evelyn. So right there, she lost the cannon and 3 mage minions. Really bad, right? That's like 50 to 60 gold, and then like 15, 15, 15. So that's like 100 gold. That's gone from Ashe. And the EXP. You think Essence Reaver into IE is better than Bork Runons for Ashe? Essence IE Trinity Force is fine on Ashe. Yes. It just depends on the situation. So, and yeah, generally you want to go that build when they're more squishy. And you want to go Blade of the Rune King build when they're a bit more tankier. What about Swain support? You think he needs a buff? Swain support? Huh. I think Swain support could be okay with like another champion that can help proc his E, CC. So I don't think any AD carry can really do that, except level 6 AD carries like Ashe and Varus. But you want champions that can do it before 6 if possible, for Swain to be worth it. What do you think about Enchanted Sports? It feels like they don't have much power in game and have to rely on their teammates a lot. I do agree with that in some cases, but my opinion about Enchanted Sports is let's focus on the situation here. So Asher should just Asher was the arrow here. Yeah, there you go. So right here, let's view this game from the perspective of red team. I'll get back to the Enchanter support in a second. So right here, nobody on the enemy team is showing mid, and Nautilus is running full speed at you. What reason do you have to walk back in to fight here? Nobody showing mid. The Sandra is like doing random stuff. And your work is top side. This is the explanation of strong side, weak side. Is right now, Alistair should be like right here in this brush at the maximum part of it. And then Jinx should be right here, like maximum auto attack range, and just last hitting. And then seeing what goes on until Katarina shows mid, and then they can look to play aggressively again if they want. I understand Evelyn's invisible, but right here there's no reason to walk up. So right here you can't blame your teammate and be like, 4 bot lane, why aren't you doing anything on the map? That is definitely your fault if you are the Jinx and Alistair there, 100%. And that's where a lot of confusion comes to the game too, and why people blame each other in solo queue a lot. So like Xayah for Swain, maybe those two could work together. Why not? Yeah. At that point I just feel like, why don't you pick the top? But back to the Enchanter support. Enchanter supports have a much higher maximum output than champions like Alistair or something, right? Who have a much lower maximum output. So what I mean by that is Enchanter supports like Yuumi, Nami, and Janna. This is my opinion, by the way, so take this with a grain of salt. I think Nami, Janna, and Yuumi, like Soraka, those type of champions, are the hardest supports to execute at a maximum level. To maximize what those champions can do, you need to be auto-attacking and then playing out of a zone of influence or dodging, like if you're walking into it. So against like let's say you're playing Janna into Alistair, right? You can walk up and auto Alistair if you want, right? If you're following the fundamentals, but you need to be able to Q him and then continually autoing him. And then like Yuumi, for example, can you maximize your auto attacks on the enemy while still maintaining the functions that you need to do on Yuumi that makes her a champion? Same as Nami. Are you like perfectly using your E's at the same time? Are you autoing when you are trying to trade with the enemy without even using abilities? Like if your abilities are down. So like you can do a lot on those champions because they're ranged. Not fake news, it's a disgusting one. It is indeed. What about Pantheon support? Pantheon support is good with Talia AD carry. So yes. But if any other situation is really bad. So right here, let's go back to this game. Blue team doing a really good job of lane swapping. I love this. Look. Bot tower's down, dragon's down, right? They sent the Ashe towards top so that she can look to try to play for the top tower. Very good. Personally, though, I would have sent Ashe Nautilus mid because Herald's down for 3 minutes and Dragon's was up in 2 minutes when they made the swap happen. So that would have been better from Ashe and Nautilus, but this is fine too. I'm respecting that they're following the fundamentals. So it's just like team fighting, it is what it is. This is also important too, but I'm not gonna go break down like the movements of Ashe and like all these little like nuances. We'll just watch it and you guys can enjoy it. The idea was there. Everybody was there. You guys can engage the team fight. It's just Katarina was an Ashe. Oh my god. Should Jinx have lane swap top? Yes. The reason why you lane swap top is because red team outscales blue team. I think so, yeah. Because they have Jinx once she gets Runon's IE. So if your team outscales, right? You need to match the enemy, whatever they want to do, and slow down what they're doing as much as possible. If your team doesn't outscale, that means you made a mistake, first of all. We'll start with that. Second of all, if your team doesn't outscale, you trade. So that you can, in this scenario, you trade so that you can try to just get like quick gold back in your pockets, and then try to make the play once you're 1 item or 2 item. Or once you're 1 item and the enemy team is like 1.5 items. If you want to wait for 2 items, you wait for the 2 item play while the enemy is like 2.5 items. And you guys are going to play off that. But if your team full scales, then you match whatever they do to try to hold what they're doing. And then try to slow it down. If you can match. And a lane swap is usually something you can easily match. Objective trading is a different beast. So right here, look at both sides. Nobody is dealing with waves. There's no pressure being created anywhere on the map for both teams to work with. This is literally an NA ARAM right here. Because right now, if Ashe like pushed bot, right? The wave would be here. And then now, the red team has to choose between losing the minions that got pushed in here or like dancing around here. Same as mid lane. Like, there's no pressure being created anywhere. Like, this is literally just the definition of NA ARAM and just see who pulls the trigger and who fights. And then who works out. And then right here, NA ARAM starts. Not to break it down too much. Blue team looks like they're getting demolished. Let's see how well this Ashe fights. The Jinx fighted really well. Katarina popping. Oh, Jinx. Unless. Flash. Nicholas Larson goes in. He opens up the door. He rolls a heal and he's gonna get the pentakill. Hello, ladies. He got the pentakill. My man. But back to the point, right? You want to create pressure in other lanes, usually in adjacent lanes of the objective. So adjacent means, like, so if you're playing for Dragon, right? The adjacent lanes is mid and bot. You want pressure in those lanes in some way, which is you push by pushing the wave, right? Top side, if you want to play for Baron or Herald, the adjacent lanes is top and mid. So basically, mid lane's always in the equation. So basically, that's your objective if you want to set up for that play, because then it forces them to react to the wave, and then you can do the objective because you see them dealing with the wave, right? But if they don't deal with the wave, then you just dance. You let them lose the minions that you just pushed into their tower. That's what you want to look to do. That's why I create the strategy of push, vision, push, execute, because it perfectly aligns with that strategy that you want to do. Forces them to react to the wave, so now you have numbers advantage, and then you can burn the objective. NA ARAM. I also call it NA shenanigans, so you might hear me say that. Alright, so Lissandra walking through the river for no absolute reason. So let's go back here and watch what Lissandra did. So Lissandra didn't even push mid. The wave is coming in. Lissandra, catch the wave. What? There's a full whole minion wave that Lissandra didn't catch, and now she's trying to do. She skipped step number 1 and skipped to step number 4, which is execute, which is like look for a pick in the river. But the issue is you're skipping steps. It won't work. That's not how League of Legends works. I'm confused. I never know how to deal with those clustery fights. Well, right there, in solo queue, right? You should push bot if you're the AD carry, and then if the fight breaks out, you rotate over. And then you've already caught the wave. And if the fight doesn't work out, it is what it is. What elo is this? It's like, I invited people from the ProGuides stream. So I got like a bunch of, we got like bronze, silver, gold in this game. Do you think Presence of Mind Manamune on AD carry is optimal? I think Triumph is the best rune on in solo queue when it comes to AD carry. Like Triumph is just so good. Cause there's just so many random stuff happens, like fights, that you get like resets from HP, and you just like get random like 2v3s. Can you tell me what the steps are? I'm late. There are 4 steps to League of Legends. Push, vision, push, execute. Those are the 4 steps to League of Legends. Is there another game coming after this? No, I won't be doing another game. I usually only have time for one. Because after this game is done, I'm going to review the game after full in depth. So right here, let's look. So red team can establish vision here. And if they find a fight, like red team is following steps. They push, they're moving in for vision, and then they found a Nautilus disrespecting. So they can fight. That's fine. Like that's perfect. So right here, right? They pushed the wave, right? Wave's already been pushed. Now, Ashe is dealing with it now. So they see somebody on the wave killing the minions, right? Now they move in to establish vision, right? Beautiful. Somebody's out of position. Pick them up. And now let's reverse it and look at Nautilus's perspective, right? Sure, you just got top pushed, right? But you need the Cho'Gath to move with you if you want to move for vision. So now it comes down to a numbers advantage. So that's why in the competitive gameplay, you need 2 lanes pushing at the same time. And then the people pushing those 2 lanes collapses together now. So now you can move in as a team. And if you get caught as a team and you fight as a team. But if you're moving in by yourself, right? Even if you have wave control, like you can still get picked really quickly. So right there, very good from red team. To get the wave pushing, they see Ashe, they move in to get vision, and they try to pick the Nautilus, and they got him. Perfect. And now viewing it from Nautilus' perspective, wait for the Cho'Gath to come help you establish vision. And the same as Ashe, let her push out too. This is a very good from Shen. This is so... Okay, I'm bringing it to top lane here, a top lane lesson. This is so good from Shen. Playing back, there's no reason to walk up to these minions. Your teammates aren't on the map to pressure anything. So this is very common right here. In silver or gold, your top laner right here would get caught and be like, 4 bottom lane, what are you guys doing? Do something on the map. That's your fault. Why are you getting caught when your teammates aren't in position to do something on the map? So very good from Shen to back off very far, be in a position to taunt away, and be able to run away. Respect to this man over here. And your build is kind of bad though. You have stone plate. Oh, and that's like a 4th item on Shen. Cho'Gath. Alright, I saw a Varus question about crits, or not crit, AA versus lethality. You go lethality when you can't hit anyone on the enemy team, so they have like a lot of long range, or you can't really hit them. So examples could be like Vel'Koz, Ziggs, Xerath, and then you want to go AA into champions that you can't hit very often. So champions like Maokai top, Sejuani, Trundle jungle, Olaf, like those things are gonna like be CC'd or run after you, and you can easily hit them over and over again. And that's what you want on AA. You'll know when you have to run lethality. Like, if you look at the enemy team and you just can't touch any of them, like they have Azir, like Ezreal, like Yumi, like you're running lethality in that game. But if they have like more tankier options to hit, then you can just run anything. How do you play support late games? Push, vision, push, execute. That's how you play League of Legends, actually. It applies to every single role. How to know who outscales and who don't always just pick the hardest scaling champ? You look at you just look at the champion. Whose champion does better? Like Azir versus Syndra. Who outscales? Probably Azir. Assuming that both sides play perfectly. Obviously, a Syndra can land a QE on Azir late game, right? And just kill the Azir in 2 seconds. But generally, if he doesn't get hit by it, then Azir probably does more damage. Like right here, if I was choosing between Ashe or Jinx for who does more damage late game, definitely Jinx. Assuming both people were 0, 0, and 0. 100%. Because of the way Jinx's kit works. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. So, nobody's pushing mid. Lissandra's pushing bot, God bless. And red team is starting to be a dragon. So, okay, so right here, so Lissandra's gotten the wave and now she runs over. This is what I want you to do in solo queue if you're playing AD carry. Push the wave, then come over. So you guarantee the minion wave. The gold, and then come over and help with the not 100% play. Oh god, please go in, red team. Please go in. Your Alistair's getting caught. And you have a Jinx who can front to back, and Shen can ult. No, the Jinx is dead. Alright. Alright, guys. So right here, in this specific scenario, right? So right here, they just got the Nautilus ult that just knocked Jinx up in the air, right? This is beautiful! Beautiful for red team. Look at the situation. It's a triangle engage. You have Shen coming from the flank. You have Alistair who's already tanking from the front. And then, like, Lissandra and Warwick can move down here and join this fight. Blue team is being sandwiched here. This is one of the concepts that TSM teaches their players of the triangle engage. If you can get people to come from 2 to 3 different angles, you take this fight. On top of that, Nautilus just used his ultimate. So he has no ult. Cho'Gath has no ultimate. Engage this fight. You got the Shen coming from the flank. Alistair just ulted and now he's tanking everything. All Warwick has to do here is just ult the Nautilus. Ult anything that's here in this area right here. Lissandra, click E, fly in, use your ultimate, and then Jinx, just click Q and just shoot from long range. Just fire stuff. And then you guys are fine. You guys will win. And Shen, what are you doing? Just go flank them. This is so sad. During teamfights, can you drop the scoreboard? Yeah, I can. How do I do it? Rip, I have no clue. But anyway. Alright. So blue team gets an ace, they lose dragon, that's fine. But look at this. So, remember the push, vision, push, execute I'm talking about? So right there, blue team won the fight, right? We can all clearly see that. It was a 1-5 trade. Now, the next question for blue team is, what does blue team get for all the kills they just got? Sure, they got 1,500 gold, right? That's true. But what can they get after that? The point I'm getting to is that they were push, vision, push, executing. Right here, after the fight, right? This minion wave would be in the middle. So they can easily come over, clear the wave, and take tower for all their efforts that they just put into that team fight. But since they weren't applying the push, vision, push, execute, remember that wave Lissandra pushed here before that fight? Now, blue team has to go all the way back and clear the wave. They can't get anything off of it. True, if you're really far behind, that's fine, right? You force take a fight, then you just catch waves. But right now, both teams are pretty even. You can argue that, right? Like, that's why you apply push, vision, push, execute, because after the execution, you can take objectives after it. Really easily. If the execution is a team fight.
Redundant systems activated.
What do you think about the bot lane rotating to the Herald? Yeah, that's fine. That's one of the fundamentals I was talking about in my notepad today. But in this particular game, the team rotated top when they should have rotated mid. Because Herald was down for 3 minutes and Dragon was up in 2 minutes. So if Ashe and Nautilus was mid, they can set up both objectives instead of only one. And that one wasn't even up. It wasn't even up first. Your thoughts on 80 carry with tank runes? Grasp on only Kate, not Tristana. Because Kate has guaranteed range every time. But yeah, Kate, that's fine. I run Grasp all the time on Caitlyn instead of fleet of footwork or lethal. So right here, blue team attempting a die, that's fine. Just poor execution, I guess, which led to Katarina's kill. Death, I mean. Should blue freeze bot? No, you don't freeze later game. You don't freeze at this stage of the game. Never. What do you mean by execute? It means making a play happen. So if you push vision and push execute, right? So you push, you establish vision, and you clear vision, and then you push again. For execution, you can hit towers because now you have vision from being flanked. You can do the objective on that side. You can steal camps. You can sit on that vision because now they need to walk in. Like if it's Baron, right? And you fully establish vision on Baron, you can sit on that vision and make that your execute. And then they walk in, you chuck a hook or something, and then you kill them. You can press Q to drop the scoreboard. Thank you very much, Joshua. Is Lissandra good in this patch? She's not a good champion, she's just a good counter pick into very certain picks. Katarina could be an example, maybe. Not sure if Lissandra gets it, but it sounds good because of the single target ultimate. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. So blue team has mid kind of push, and then they rotate up to this fight. Okay. And now the next question is, why is red team up this far to take the fight? I don't know. Right here, blue team take the fight. They rotate over to Baron. Okay. Speed this up a little bit. To do Baron here is probably just a 50-50. Oh my god. Alright, Warwick and Jinx didn't have a ward, so yeah, they couldn't really check. I'll give it to them. That's fine. That's a nice try. And there's also Baron dances, which I'm not going to bring up at all. Like, how to do Baron properly in a competitive scenario. Like, do you hold the Baron at 4k and see if they try to jump in? Do you turn when they go past a certain point when they're trying to walk into contest? Etc, etc. Or do you just get off completely and don't 50-50? There's a lot of those scenarios, but there's so many variables that I'm not to break down. But that it is there though. What is the best warding spot when you're red side? Enemy tri-bush and enemy red buff rush behind. So right here, and right here are the two best places to put a ward when you're red side.
Red team's turret has been
80 carry
destroyed.
Veigar. It's good into champions that can't get over the wall. Yes.
Blue team's turret has
Do you
been
do VOD
destroyed.
reviews on ProGuides? I do stream on ProGuides too if you guys are part of that website. And I do coaching on ProGuides. And we can do anything for coaching. See what's happening here. So blue team. Okay. Okay. Nautilus randomly in their jungle for no reason. So right now, like let's view like let's try to view why Nautilus is in that side of the jungle. Oh no, they're just getting caught. Okay. I have no clue. Like the enemy team aren't showing on any of the waves. Why are you like running around in the jungle? Like push out the waves, let them react to it, then you can move around the jungle. But I guess they were just getting caught. So.
Shut down.
Let's just try to place them in the game. And then more random fighting going. I know Evelyn was getting caught, but yeah. So blue team got Baron, and then they wasted this whole Baron doing nothing with the Baron. So when I VOD review this game, I'm gonna go over the laning phase from Ash's and Nautilus's perspective, and I'll talk about Jinx and Alistar. Their lane swap. I'll talk about the Baron and what they're supposed to do after the Baron. So that's what I'm gonna focus on this whole thing for the VOD review. Any thoughts on what the jungler should do mid to late game, especially when your team is losing? He should be moving with the support to establish vision and control. That's what he should be doing. Or making a play onto the enemy top laner if you're losing. How much do you charge for coaching? And are you free this weekend? Yes, I am free. It is summer for me. Yeah, I can definitely coach. I am on the ProGuides website, so you'll have to find me there. I'll post my link later at the end of the session. If you guys want to click on my link and just send me a DM and just ask any like questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer. And then we can discuss the schedule if you want. Is Tom Kench good? Any good in laning phase? He's okay. He can be really deadly though. If the enemy team disrespects you, and you're able to auto-Q someone and then just run at them with W, you will kill them in one shot. But overall, like if assuming both players were perfect human beings, like a Janna to TK, the Janna. I'm an 80 carry main. Oh, take my gun. Alright, so Lissandra pushing bot. I respect it. Lissandra push bot. Now go kill the Ashe. Kill the Ashe, Lissandra. What? Alright. Okay. Do you think 80 carry has the least impact in the game? No, I think 80 carry can have the most. Any role can have the most impact as long as you're playing it properly. Obviously, there are some metas where like just naturally how the stats work or how the items work. Some roles will have a lot more impact. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I never really thought about that. I only thought about like if I'm playing an X role, right? Like what can I do to maximize my impact in this role as best as I can? That's the only thing I thought about. So Jinx is dead, blue team's doing Baron, red team has to look for a steal. That's fine. Warwick. You got in the pit though. You got in the pit. My advice for you when you're stealing Baron, right, and you have no vision on it, is if you're running to it, and they've already been doing it for a little bit, right? Spam smite as you enter. Because by the time you realize what the HP is when you get in, it'll be too late. So just spam it as you enter, and then sometimes it'll work out. Because if you spam it, you'll guarantee your smite, right? But if you like wait to see what the HP is, you probably won't get it. It's probably too late. How do you think I did out the Ev? I wasn't paying attention. I was focusing on bot lane. And that's my focus this session. I think you did okay. From the looks of your score. Why don't people listen when I say give? It's so low key. You can only do so much when it comes to making people listen to your calls. What are your thoughts on Volibear rework for jungle? Yeah, I saw the Volibear rework. It's a pretty interesting champion. I have to see it though. I don't have any crazy opinions about it yet. Challenger League of Legends guide. Bro, I only have bad players on my team. What should I do? Get better at the game. And win your lane on your own. And then try to carry the game with your lead. And don't flame them. That's very big. Don't flame them. Because every game, the only consistent factor aside from... Oh, the game ended. Okay, that's fine. The game ended. Like, let's go back. The only consistent factor in every single game is you. So there's no point flaming the 4 people you'll probably never see again, ever. Just focus on yourself and focus on how you can win lane before your teammates losing lane can over impact how much you're winning lane. So basically just win lane. That's why you pick good early game champions in solo queue. Thoughts on which jungler is best for low elo? I'm a fan of Graves right now. I really am. Thoughts on Lucian duoing with Taric, Yuumi, Soraka? Lucian does really well with Taric because of the E setup and Braum. Soraka is okay for Soraka, not the best. Yuumi is also okay. Probably, I'm not a fan of Yuumi when I play Lucian. I do like Braum and Taric though. Alright. So right here, let's go back and review this game. We're going to talk about the general laning phase from Ashe's and Nautilus' perspective, and Jinx and Alistar. And we're going to talk about the lane swap, and we're going to talk about the after the Baron, because this is where a lot of people have so many issues ending the game when they're this far ahead. So right here, starting off, whenever you're playing the only time you can walk through here is like if you're Draven. I swear to God, that's like the only bot lane that can walk through the river right away. If it's Draven and like Thresh or something, not Draven Alistar. You never walk through as Alistar level 1. Because if you walk in here and you're playing against a ranged champion, you're gonna get demolished by the Janna or by a Nami or something. So right here, to prevent this from happening, if you're playing anything that's not Draven and Thresh or Draven and Blitzcrank, you go this way. You always go this way. And then blue team, for blue team, you can go through here even if you have a really weak bot lane. Just make sure your jungler is going to Krugs if you're gonna walk through here. Otherwise, just always walk the safe way. It's just you just don't want any like early solo queue shenanigans to happen to screw up anything that can happen. You don't want to skew the lane in some way. What about Nami and Lucian? That's a perfect duo bot lane. Perfect. Because Lucian can apply double stacks from the Nami E. And then right here, early cheese. And now Ashe and Nautilus is able to get priority on this lane because they have double flash advantage. And they can build up the wave towards Jinx and Alistar. So right here, Nautilus doing a really good job of pressuring the lane. Level 1. So right here, look. So right here, look at red team's perspective. Let's assume they have flashes, right, in full HP. Even if they had flashes in full HP, obviously they'd walk up and control this much. But okay, let's just play with this scenario. So right here, they have to assume worst case scenario. Nautilus is right here, ready to hook them, right? So they need to play around it. So they can't even walk up in this case. Because if they walk up, Nautilus can potentially get a hook. So now they're forced toward the bush. Now blue team has a ward advantage. And then Nautilus attempts the hook. That's fine. Go for the hook there. If you land it, you get more chunks onto Jinx. You get an Ashe W on her. And then you probably win the lane off that. So right here, you build up the wave. Unfortunately, you guys missed EXP from not being in lane for the first couple of minions dying. But the idea is here. This is the second wave. And 9 minions just went down. You walk up and try to all in the enemy here. You can even flash Nautilus hook them if you were level 2, but you aren't. So it is what it is. So the fundamentals are being followed. I respect it. I love it for sure. And then right here, like right here as Nautilus, there's no reason to ward. Never leave the lane until the wave is fully pushed in. Once all these minions die and they crash into the tower, right? Then sure, go ward to your heart's extent. You can go all the way in here and ward in here since you have so much time before the next wave comes. Once you push these 3, and you can go back to bot lane after. But right here, don't leave the lane when the lane isn't even fully pushed in yet because you're just losing minions at this point. What do you think about Maokai's support? He could be good. Could be. He's a good flex. I've definitely... this is not a leak because it's already over, but my competitive team used to pick Maokai's support in very niche scenarios. We would first pick Maokai, they would think it's top on red side, and then we'd counter pick top lane, and then put Maokai's support. Alright, so let's going back to this game. So right here, Nautilus Targons, right? He moves into the brush. Very good. Very beautiful. Look at red team's perspective. Now the enemy red team has to assume Nautilus is sitting in this brush, right? So now, they have to back off, or they need to contest the brush, right? And if they want to contest the brush, they need to walk up to it, allowing Nautilus to hook. So now, they're sitting in the open, and Nautilus can just look for a hook, and then now boom, they can go fight. Very nice. And then they obviously win the trade. And then right here is where the mistake happens from blue team. So blue team should not be looking for a fight here. Should not be. Because you have... Sure, the minion wave's pushing towards the enemy team, right? But you haven't cleared some of the minions yet. You need to clear some of the minions before you can look for a trade like this. But otherwise, this is going to happen. Where you look for a fight, they have a numbers advantage in the cannon and minions turning around and fighting you. And Ashe got hit by Jinxie, so that wasn't good. And then you lose. So right there, all blue team has to do is clear the 3 melees, clear the cannon, then you can do what you just did if the enemy team is disrespecting you. Alright, so let's go through the one time they did push vision, push execute. So right here they're building up the wave, which is really nice to see. They're building up the wave. They're building up. So right here, blue team can generally engage whenever they want. They should probably clear 2 melees here, and then they can look to engage right here, whenever they want. And then red team has to respect it, because they don't have the bigger minion wave. So right here, they have to assume Nautilus is right here, like when he was in the bush, right? 2 seconds ago. They have to assume he's right here, and his zone of influence is up to here, which is where his hook probably lands, around right here. So then Jinx has to play over here, behind these mage minions where the hook can't go through, or he has to stay outside of Nautilus's influence range, imaginary lines, and then try to CS from outside of there, which they're doing a pretty decent job of right now. And then they back off completely, which is really good. And then right now, I like the idea blue team is going for, but you haven't pushed in the wave fully yet. Push in the wave all the way, and then get the vision, because right now you have the minion wave advantage, right? The enemy team aren't going to contest you. You can push this really freely, and then you can fight them freely if you want. And then once you fully push in the wave, because they'll respect you, then move in, get all the vision you want in the world. But right now, they move off the wave. Look at how many minions they miss. They miss 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they finally come back. And they could have achieved like all the stuff they were just doing just now, right now, as they pushed in the wave. Even faster, because they would have been autoing the wave. But I do respect what they were trying to do. They were trying to get vision after that mini push. They got a ward here, they got a ward here, and now they're able to have vision on Warg, on 2 of his camps, on his Gromp and blue buff. This is really good from blue team. But right now, you know Warg just crossed through your ward into this general area right here. The only advantage here is you have a ward on this bush right here. So right here, right, Ashe and Nautilus should have cleared those mage minions, and what they should have done was let the wave push towards them guaranteed. And if Evelyn helps them, then they can walk up and take the 3v3. But in this case, you need to continue playing safe, because you still have no clue where Warg is. This is a very good, viable option from Warg, to walk through here, and then walk into the lane, because they just got the push going. So you guys need to play really respectively here, and let the wave come in, until Evelyn decides to come. Then you can bait the 3v3 if you want to. But then right here, Nautilus gets punished because they didn't respect the potential Warg cross through. But the fundamentals were there. I love it. I still respect it. Alright, let's skip through here. To the lane swap. Thoughts on Lucian for low elo? That's fine. Lucian's a perfect one-trick champ if you want to practice getting better at AD carry. Alright, so right here, let's view the game from red team's perspective. Alright, your jungler's topside. Your Lissandra's randomly, like, here. And nobody on the enemy team is showing mid. Right? Right now, there's no reason for you to walk up at all. Because your jungler's topside, so he can't help you. So right here, you guys need to play maximum range auto attacks. So right here, Alistair should be in this brush if he wants to pressure as much as he can. And then if they come, you obviously just run away, right? And then Jinx should turn on her Q for long range. And then stand right here, and then just last hit. And then try to run away if the enemy team comes. But right here, there's no reason to walk up. Because, like, nobody's mid. Katarina should be mid right now, but she isn't. So then don't walk up. And then doom. Alright, we're gonna not do the lane swap because they should have just swapped mid because Herald was down. But let's talk about the Baron after. For what blue team should do. So, when you are blue team and you have Baron here, so you mentioned your Baron. Right now, everybody should reset. If your team just got Baron, assuming that you guys aren't like just fully off reset, everybody should reset. Reset right now, get full HP, get full mana, buy all the items that you want in the world with the money that you have. Right? Next thing you do, come back onto the map as a team, as usually a 4-man unit, and then you send your top laner bot or something. Don't 1-3-1 in solo queue. You guys aren't good enough. I take that back. Solo queue people aren't good enough to do 1-3-1. So you guys do 2 lanes. So you usually send the mid laner or top laner to bot, and then you send the 4 core people mid lane. And then you guys push as a team. And that's all you do. You push. Once you push, you establish vision in their bottom side. Right? And then you go back and you just continue pressuring forever now. Until an NA solo queue fight breaks out, and then you take the fight as a team. But then right here, I think blue team, like, they rush over to Dragon. They get Dragon, which is fine. But then now they should reset. Now everybody resets. And then gets the waves again. Or gets their HP. But they're not doing that. So let's see what happens here. They end up wasting their Baron play. When they get mid, sure. But they can't really push any further. And then now, like, 1 person resets, 2 people stays on the map, eventually somebody gets caught because... And you guys get the point now, right? Like, this is not what a Baron play looks like. That it should look like. It should look... Like, even though it's gold, there are still, like, standards you still need to play to, which is you reset and you fight and die as a team. But right here, they're, like, all over the place. They're, like, 1 person's doing this, 1 person's doing that, and it's just not coordinated. Like... Just reset as a team, push 2 waves as a team, and then get caught as a 4-man unit. That's fine, and then fight as a 4-man unit. And then the person who's on sideline collapses over or TP's over, and then joins. And then assuming that you're ahead, you will win the fight. And assuming that you got Baron, you are winning. So then all they had to do was reset, do my push vision, push execute strategy, push mid. They will react to mid lane. Go establish vision all up in their bot side. Go back to mid, push, and then look to dive or something, or look to just poke tower. And then an NA solo queue fight will break out, and then you win the fight. Because you have the minion wave advantage being buffed, and etc, etc. Alright, we'll look to end that there, and we'll take this time to answer any questions you guys may have about League of Legends. So I'm going to pull up this notepad here, and you guys can just screenshot it. Don't worry, there's nothing beneath push vision, push execute. So the document is perfect size. I'm gonna remove this too and add duo bot boot fundamentals. We're gonna add a spacebar here, and I think yeah, everything's still showing. So you guys can screenshot that screenshot this if you guys want. All right. So. Feel free to ask any questions you guys want. I'll be answering for about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even 5. Is River Shen still good? XD. If Cho doesn't have TP, he can TP, but depending on the situation when they are... If you don't have TP, you still apply push, vision, push, execute. But instead of... But you just walk. You just walk. Literally just walk to wherever the play is happening. Is Camille top JG good to master for climbing? Not jungle, but top lane is fine. Hey, how's this? Is Sandra testing her out in competitive? What are some of the fundamentals I'm missing so I can work on them? There was one time where the enemy literally pushed mid, right? And instead of catching the wave that was coming in, you ran to the top river brush and got collapsed on when you should have just caught the wave. and then figure out what you need to do after catching the wave. So you jump from step number 0, or step number 1, which is to push catch the mid wave, and you jump straight to step number 4, which is execute, is looking for a pick in their jungle, and that didn't work out really well. Because your Alistair ended up catching the wave, so if someone's catching the wave, that means you don't have people with you. Is Vayne good in Diamond? Vayne is good everywhere, yes. How do you play tank support into mage support? You do the reverse of everything I taught today. You play safe. And you wait till 3 until you can fight back. So can you apply the push, vision, push, execute to the mid laner role? You apply it to every single role. Every single role. For this strategy. Every single person in the game should be learning this strategy. If I had a perfect scenario here, I wish League of Legends just released a video. Like, the proper way to play League of Legends when you're winning is to push, vision, push, execute. And if you're losing, you do it to a certain extent. Because you're the team that's losing, you don't have the free time as much as a winning team. You have small windows of opportunity to do it. And then the losing team usually forces plays too. They give up like mid tower or something to kill the enemy top laner. Something along those lines. But yes, it can be applied to a micro efficiency to every person in the game. Jhin is good with hook support. Jin's fine with hook supports. But I'm not a fan of Jhin, I'll be quite honest. How do you play support when your AD carry is bad? Go Pike. Make sure you're playing Pike or Bard, and then when you see roam opportunities, you definitely look for the roam. So, like, you see the roam opportunities in my notepad, right? It says support, look at wave, and determine how much you can do. Look at the wave. If the wave's pushing towards your AD carry, right? You can probably go place a ward and then get to bot lane and catch the wave with your AD carry. If the wave is even, or pushing to, if the wave's even, right? You can roam, place the ward, and then even hit mid lane if you want to, with the gank. And if the wave is pushing towards the enemy, right? And you're coming off base, you go bot and push. You don't roam. You go bot and push, and then you apply my push, vision, push, execute strategy. But in this case, it would be push, vision, execute, because your AD carry is bad. You want to go help them push out the wave that's pushing towards them bot, right? Push it, establish vision as you're running mid lane, and then just gank. So push, vision, execute. And then pray to God your AD carry doesn't die during that time. How to establish a level advantage against opposing enemy support? Control the second brush in bot lane, which is in this notepad, I think. It says, in the early lane phase and positioning part, supports contest second lane brush in lane ASAP and force the ward from the enemy. So you want to do that. Who is the safest AD carry to play besides MF? MF isn't safe. But the safest AD carry to play is Ezreal, if you really want to play him that way. Is Amumu good in Diamond? Amumu is good when they have a lot of melee champions. And a lot of them are hitting you, and you can spam your E over and over again. How can I counter Jax as set? I think you do win that matchup. Just use your W when you think he's about to E stun you, and you should be fine. What are the strengths of Aphelios? The fact that there's 200 years worth of experience put onto that champion. That is the strength. That's my troll answer. My real answer is like, just understand how the guns interact with each other and then play around it. That's like the huge strengths. Like Severum and Crescendum is really good, or Crescendum and Calibrum is really good together. Can you recommend some champs to main for support duo with Lucian, Kai'Sa, Vayne? Nautilus, Leona. You probably heard that this whole patch. What to play against Ezreal? Kai'Sa. Scion jungle thoughts? You're trolling. What to do if enemies outrange your AD carry? If it outranges your AD carry, then you need to... Assuming that you both get outranged, you guys need to let them push towards you. Until you're level 3, then you can try to fight back. Once you have all 3 of your abilities. How do you do more damage to tanks as Echo? Don't. Go split push instead. Buy a Lich Bane and pressure Sidewave, and apply push, vision, push, execute, and play as if you're a Fiora or Jax, but instead of taking the 1v2, you just run away instead. What to play into Caitlyn? Ashe. How do I unstuck myself as an AD carry from D2? Yes. What counters Morgana's support? Everything. That champ is so bad. Tips for Leona when she's behind? Follow the fundamentals and engage. So if you're building up a wave towards them, and even if you're behind, you can still engage with the big minion wave. Any tips for Janna mains? That champion is one of the hardest supports to fully execute at the maximum level. But try to learn how to maximize your output with your auto attacks. Is Aphelios Tar a good duo? It's aight. It's okay. Is it better for supports to have healing items or damage items? Depends what champion you're playing and how the game, the flow of the game is going. Is Vayne a Pyke good duo? No. What are good videos to watch, learn macro fundamentals for new players? Me. And getting coaching from me. Plug, by the way. But I don't think there's any like huge videos out there that explain, like, I have not seen a single video in the entire world that explains push, vision, push, execute, which is literally the essence of League of Legends. Like the steps that you can follow to guarantee perfect gameplay. Thank you for a informative stream. No problem, my man, Juan Fernandez. Do you suggest TP or Guide on Echo? TP. Alright, I'm going to pull up my coaching link here because somebody asked for it earlier. It is through the ProGuides website. Let's pull up the link. Open up my YouTube class. I am here. No wonder I was lagging. I had my stream open the whole time. And my AMD card could not handle it. Thoughts on Karma? She's really bad right now. Short range. Other champions do the same job as her, but better. Can you explain push, vision, push, execute again? Alright, so I'm going to put it in this document, okay? So I'm assuming you guys screenshotted this part already, okay? I'm going to scroll down here on my notepad. Scroll down. Alright, push, vision, push. Push the first wave. Push the wave. Establish vision once you see them clearing the wave. And clear their vision at the same time. Go back to pushing after you execute on the objective your team wants. Whether it's Tower, Dragon, Herald, Baron, or camps, or picks in their jungle. That's like the general idea. He just doesn't. X-Vision Saber talks about it all the time. He doesn't use those specific words. I see. Will this stream be released as a video? No. So copy the link of this stream, and then paste it like somewhere like in a personal like notepad or personal Discord or something, so you can watch it again. But you can watch this again, but you need the link. It won't be anywhere out there, I think. Oh, and by the way, in all these steps, this assumes you're winning, right? So if you're winning, that means that in any of these steps, if the enemy disrespects you, in any of these steps, if enemy disrespects, you fight. I spelled disrespects wrong. Respect. You fight. I need to scroll down. You guys can't see it. How to use your lead as a top laner? Push, vision, push, execute. Push out the wave, establish your vision, push, and then roam mid for the execution. Roam mid or TP down. Or bait the enemy jungler to come up and 1v2 them. Can Vi work as support? Lol. Any advice or thoughts on Swain support? Make sure you have like an AD carry who can proc a stun or something. Alrighty guys, it's 3:15. I've went over 15 minutes. People are getting mad at me. So, we will be ending the stream there. Let's play some music. I'm going to post my coaching link in the chat. So if you want to send me a message and ask me any questions on coaching, or if you want to schedule one with me, that'd be nice. You guys can click it through the link I just posted just now. Please don't message me and be like, why am I stuck in silver? My teammates are bad. Don't give me that. Give me like, I have trouble with my mechanics, or I have trouble with general macro gameplay. Could you like give me some general advice? And then we can schedule a lesson, and then this is my plug too, by the way. But yeah, that's what you want to look to do. Otherwise, guys, screenshot this notepad if you want. Screenshot. I'm gonna scroll to the top in a second, so you guys can screenshot it again. Make sure you copy paste the link somewhere so you can re-watch this VOD if you want. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on twitter.com/SaskioLOL, twitch.tv/SaskioLOL, where I will be streaming RuneScape once I get my i7 or my new graphics card. I'll be streaming old school RuneScape maxing, and League of Legends coaching. But I probably won't stream League of Legends because my computer's really laggy. And you guys can message me on the coaching ProGuides thing. I just put the links below, so make sure you guys check that out. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for everything. Love streaming to you guys on YouTube, and I will be heading out now. So I'm gonna give you guys the starting soon screen, and I will say have a good day. Have a good day, guys.